Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Education Exchange. My name is Killian Davies, Video Production Specialist at the Tolleson Union High School District Office. And today we're actually at West Point High School under the stage lights as we are interviewing some of their theater students. Please go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Brianna Munoz. I am a 12th grader here at West Point High School.
Hi, my name is Guinevere Robinson, and I'm a 12th grader here at West Point High School.
Hello, my name's Alana Velasco. I'm a ninth grader at West Point High School.
Thank you all so much for joining me on the podcast today. Now, I know we said two seniors and a freshman. Have we been in the theater program all 4 years or just starting or?
Yeah, actually, me and Gwen have done theater all 4 years together.
Oh,
So
wow.
we started in the same beginning class.
That's fantastic. What drew you guys in as theater students from 4 years ago, and what has made you want to stay course with the theater program?
Well, for me, I was always a theater kid since I was like super little. Me and my mom used to go watch musicals. And then when I moved to elementary school, my first production was in Annie. And then I started to do The Little Mermaid and Aladdin in middle school. And then I really just wanted to join theater here because I heard the theater department was amazing.
That's awesome.
And for me, I started off doing technical theater at my church when I was about 10 years old. And it all kind of started because my dad was doing that and I wanted to be like him. And so I joined the theater program in hopes to continue doing technical theater. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. Alana, now you're a freshman. This is your first year in the theater program. Have you done anything theater-wise beforehand, or is this just you're fresh off the boat into the theater experience?
I did theater in 8th grade. We did high school musical junior. So
That's fantastic. And what has your experience been like so far as a first-time theater student at West Point High School?
it's very good. It's very nice. A lot of great people.
That's awesome. How many students are usually in a theater class with all of you?
It depends. In our beginning classes, there's a lot more students, and then you have the students who really want to be in theater who move up to the next. So it kind of like dwindles down. And then you have the people who do it their junior year and their senior year. And so the classes kind of get like somewhat smaller. I know in our advanced class, we have how many? I think
14?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's just as you progress forward, you have those that, like you said, are really the theater kids at heart that want to persevere.
Yeah.
And it's not just being a performer, if I'm not mistaken, correct? You handle a lot of aspects that come into just creating a play or a musical. What can you walk me through some of the things that you all kind of experience?
Yeah, I think Gwen.
Yeah. So I'm also in the stage production class, which is during first hour. In that class, we build the sets, we make the props, we do all the lighting cues and the sound cues and everything that has to do with the stage. And so there are a lot of students that don't really like being on stage, but they do like being a part of that process. And then also there's people who run the lights and sound during shows. And there's people who are stagehands and help move the set around backstage, as well as stage manage. So, yeah.
That's really awesome. I love just the community and the camaraderie that is formed under the musical theater troupe, because I think, like I said, it's not just about being front and center. It's everything. Every part's got to work. It's live theater. You can't, you have to keep moving no matter the mistakes that happen. Was there an aspect of the stage? Because I think we all want to, be on stage, have a part, say a line, sing a song. But was there an aspect of theater that you were surprised how much you enjoyed that isn't maybe being under the spotlight, that has been just a favorite of yours to partake in?
Helping backstage, for
Backstage.
sure.
Okay.
I did my first show helping really backstage this year for one of our earlier productions. And I helped out with Gwen. And that was really, really fun. It was like my first time ever seeing what truly goes on and how much help people need backstage.
Guinevere?
I think probably acting. I wasn't very keen on acting when I first started, but
Oh, so you were the opposite. You came in
yes.
for the stage side of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I got a really big part in my first ever one act that we did freshman year, and I kind of fell in love with it. So from there.
That's awesome. I know. Were you privy to know how much was going to be involved with the theater program, or were you like, oh, I just get to perform, or what was your kind of mindset coming in as a freshman?
I came in to like doing this because like in 8th grade it was a lot more like calm down and like a little bit. But when I did the first play here, it was a lot more than I thought, but it was fun to do and it was easy to balance out with all my other stuff. So
That's really awesome. What goes into, we have a play or a musical that's going. What is how long does that process look like from acquiring the script to putting it on stage?
Well, it depends for every production. I know musicals, we do casting, but we also do callbacks and we do tryouts and then we do lead callbacks and then we do lead tryouts. And then after like a few days, the cast list comes out and you find out who's where. And then I know in January, we're going to start doing rehearsal for our musical this year. Whereas like the fall play, it was all really fast. We had auditions, callbacks, and then found out the cast list. And like a week later, we were doing our first read through.
Okay. I know we mentioned our fall play had just passed. What was the fall play here at West Point?
It was called Make 'em Laugh.
Oh, very cool. What was that pertaining to?
It's like a sitcom multiverse.
Okay.
This kid wakes up after trying to apply to college in different sitcoms and has to travel through them trying to find like the moral of them all. So
Okay.
I know I played Melissa
Mhm.
in Friends. That's who I was.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember what show I was a part of, but I do remember I had 3 roles. Well, I'm already blanking on the names. I don't remember
that's
the
all
names,
right.
but
Guinevere, what about you? What were you in that?
I was the stage manager for that show.
Oh, very cool. So what is that like to stage manage a multiverse of comedy? Because comedy sitcoms are all stage production. That is,
Yeah.
one of the most pure sets you can have in cinema is a comedy sitcom. So what is that like from a stage manager?
I think it was my first time ever stage managing something like that. And so I think I was also a part of like building the set and stuff like that. So it was one of the easier shows that we've done so far because the set there wasn't much to it because it kind of remained the same throughout the show. And so like the part that I played was just like setting props and making sure that everybody was like getting to where they need to be on time and stuff like that. And for me, it was really fun because I got to like bond with people that I usually don't see very often outside of, like this class.
That's fantastic. And now you said we're doing a musical in the spring. What is West Point planning? Or are we allowed to know yet? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
We actually just finished auditions for Footloose.
Oh, Footloose. That's so fun. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that's great.
Yeah.
What? How would the auditions go? How are we feeling?
The auditions went good. It was a long process for sure. We had a full week of just auditions and callbacks.
Yeah.
And so that was like very tiring for some because it was learning the dance, practicing it at home, along with practicing for lead parts. And then you had ensemble auditions. And then you had lead auditions the next day. So it was really jam packed. And then I think that weekend we found out cast list.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. So in spring, we're talking like February, March era of it. Okay. That's awesome. Now, when you finish a project, is it any sort of reprieve or is it just immediately like chomping at the bit of what are we doing next? What's our next project?
Honestly, I'm relieved afterwards because like you just spent like 3 months on something like every single day and like finally you get to go home at a regular time. And instead of at like 5 p.m. And then I'm also just kind of like looking forward to what's next because like I love this community and I love this space that we've like spent so much time creating that like after a show ends it's sad. I mean like because we've spent so long on something and it's rewarding but I also like miss it every time. So yeah.
Yeah, we try to make the most out of everything. So like our cast will plan trips to IHOP after shows. We
You
have
gotta love it. That's musical theater
Exactly.
tradition.
We have our cast parties, which we always get like pizza and everybody brings snacks. And we usually like either watch our shows or do like karaoke and just hang out as like a final like homage to the show. Because in theater, you don't see everybody all the time.
Mhm.
You have so many people who you don't see on a regular basis, but you make such close bonds with them that it just feels like family coming together one more time.
Okay. Now, when it comes to selecting a show, how does that process work?
So last year, me and Gwen were in the advanced class again. We were juniors and our seniors had just left. And so we had decided, let's all try to like pick out shows together
Okay.
and make that fun. So we had two options for our fall show. We had The Great Gatsby was one of our other classmates' choice, but that was way too long and we couldn't do that. So we went with our second option, Make 'em Laugh. And the musical is already predetermined by our music director, our dance director, and our actual director. They choose that and then it's like a grand reveal.
Okay.
But for like we also got to choose advanced theaters play. So right now we're working on blocking for Clue.
Oh, very cool.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Um, when it comes to just this whole journey, I want to get different perspectives from senior and freshman here, but I want to start with Alana. Alana, as a freshman, what do you think you're maybe most anxious about? What do you think you're also most looking forward to in this journey? I hope you go beyond freshman and continue all the way through senior. Like we have a couple people here doing that, but I'd love to get your take on what your kind of expectations are.
For the musical, I'm part of the musical. I got casted for ensemble, which I'm happy about. That's what I wanted because it's my first musical, so I didn't want to take it too heavy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I feel like I wanted to take it more slow because it is my first high school musical.
Mhm.
So I just want to like keep it
You want to
cool.
ease
So
into it.
yeah, so
Get a
then
lay of the
next
land.
year I'll be more known to the process and all that. But I can't wait to start that because I get to do a musical with the people who I've known for not that long, but um, great memories with them, great people. So
I think it's easy to make friends in the theater program because you all just want to be silly, play characters, put on
Oh, yeah.
costumes. Like it's really great. It's such a great way to make friends and those connections. So I'm glad it's been such a positive experience so far.
thank you.
Alana, I hope you break a leg in your first ensemble appearance for it, and I hope you get to grow more and maybe take on a lead or a co-star role with that in a play or production. Guinevere, what about you? For as far as a senior, looking back from where you started as a freshman, how do you feel that change has been when you first entered West Point's theater program?
Um, I like at first I like didn't really want to get involved with all of it because I just wanted to like get to senior year and get to be able to do stage production class. But I think throughout like starting to do like lights and audio for more shows and um ushering for shows, I just started like realizing that um like that stage that's my home. That's the place where I like can go to and just like feel so much peace because I've made like so many friends that I never thought that I would make there. And so like it's made me want to get more and more involved and like because like I don't like really like acting that much. I've found my place doing like stage managing and doing that stuff so I can still like have a lot of shared memories with my friends and stuff like that. While also being a part of the process. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Brianna, anything that you reflect back on?
Yeah. So I've made so many memories doing theater since past freshman year. I did musicals, like I said, and that was played a big part in what I chose for high school. And so when I first came here, I was really nervous, really shy, tried to focus on making friends more than theater. And I kind of regret that now because I would have pushed myself to do the musical my freshman year. I would have pushed myself to do more, but I didn't. And so when going into my sophomore year, I was like, okay, it's time to lock in, go to the musical, do the fall play. And I did every other show after that. And honestly, making friends like that was so much easier than just trying to be like, hey, you want to be my friend? It was so much easier because you're kind of forced to be with those people every single day till like 6 o'clock at night, like Gwen said.
Yeah.
And then on show nights, it's like you don't go home until like 8 or 9. So it becomes really long days and really late nights, and you bond in several ways. Like, I know during shows, we'll all order food together and we'll all do different things together. We'll try to hang out afterwards. And that's how I made such great friends. Like Gwen, she's been my friend since freshman year, ever since our first show.
I love that. That's just fantastic. I want to touch on a quick thing that you actually mentioned a couple questions ago, which is about the theater leadership. What is it like with the instructors and our directors, our dance choreographers and things? What is the West Point theater leadership like as a student?
It's amazing. Our director, Mr. Alvarez, he's not only like our director, not only our teacher, but he's like family to us. I see him as like a big brother because we bond all the time in our class, and he's amazing. And then like our choir director here, I've been in choir for the past 3 years, so I love her so much. We call her Mama Fraser because she's like a mother to us.
Okay.
And then our dance teachers here, they're amazing. They're upbeat, they're funny. They love taking requests from others, like, what do you want to see in it? Everybody's just so like loving and caring because they also have a passion for what we do. It's not just us. So I know like our theater teacher, he was a theater kid at heart. That's what he went into for college too. Like, and so it inspires so many of us to follow in his path.
Guinevere, any thoughts on West Point leadership?
I think she said everything that needs to be said, honestly. Yeah.
That's very valid. Alana, I mean, what are you looking forward to? I mean, 'cause we have, like we said, we have our directors, we have our choreographers. Is dance something that you've ever considered and when it comes to theater and on stage?
Oh, I mean, I used to do dance, but I kind of fell out of it. But to redo it again for the musical, I'm actually really excited for it. So
Okay. I love that. I guess my question to each of you I'd love to ask is, what is a production that you've wanted to perform? Whether that's now in high school, Alana, or if you guys pursue this further into college or into community theater, is there a production of some musical or play that you have always been interested in playing? And if so, is there a character in particular?
For a play, Clue, that's why I really wanted to do it as our class play.
Mm-hmm.
And I did actually get my dream role. I got Miss Scarlet.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
this is like my first time actually super, super, super excited for the role. And then for musical, I really want to do like an off-Broadway or even on-Broadway production of Death Becomes Her.
I've just been listening to the recording of Death Becomes Her, and it's so great. Oh my gosh, the song "The Plan" has been on repeat for me for like 100 times. I love it. Oh my gosh, those are great choices. I love that.
For me, I would say falsettos or cabaret.
See, this is my people. Oh my gosh, Christian Borle in falsettos is a king.
Oh my gosh.
He's amazing. Oh my, that's whenever my friends are like, oh, because we watch other shows that he's involved in, and I'm like, oh, you guys haven't seen him in falsettos though? And they're like, oh no, what is that? And I'm like, oh my God, let me pull up a free YouTube rip of that musical and show you this beautiful thing. So that's just great choices from that. Love that.
honestly, a show that I would actually be really excited to do is Shrek.
Hey, listen.
It's such a funny, like it's so funny, and I would want to play Donkey. Donkey's so
great.
funny.
I was just talking to some people. I talk to friends all the time about, man, how come this hasn't been made into a musical? How come this hasn't been made into a musical? And I was talking about it with like Lemony Snicket's Series of Unfortunate Events. I think would be a crazy trash musical to have. But like, and we were talking about like, there's a montage song where in the song it's each caretaker getting and then dying, and then you go to the next one and it's just moving on. Yeah. We talked about a Grinch musical where the beginning is called Who's Who. And you're going through the Whoville and everything. Yeah. And so it's like, I love talking about that stuff, and just, I love the energy that we got here with it. My very final thing I would say before we close out here is just as seniors, this is going to be just as seniors, and I know you said you started earlier as a freshman, so I would still love your opinion on this, Alana, but what advice would you give to someone who wants to try theater and maybe either doesn't know what to expect from it or might be a little too nervous to take the spotlight or take on something else as part of the program? What's some advice you would give to somebody?
Shake off the nerves, because that is the biggest thing. The nerves will always be there. No matter how old you get, you could be in your 50s still doing theater, and the nerves will still be there because it is an audience. It is a little scary, but it's just getting in the headspace of your character and just going for it. Just go for it. Even if you end up not liking it, at least you could say you tried.
Yeah, I would say just to like dive into it head first, because like if I hadn't done that, I don't think I would be, sitting here at this table right now. I don't think I'd be like I don't think I'd have like half the friends that I've had if it weren't for the fact that I just like tried something new and just like did it, put all of my effort into it, for like the first time in my entire life, really. Just like it was something that like nobody in my family has ever done before, and so it was something that was uniquely mine, and so I would just say to just go for it. I mean, like if you're thinking about it even a little bit, like just do it. I promise you'll find friends there. So yeah.
Alana, again, I know you're really fresh at this, so either maybe something that if you feel confident saying, or something that you have heard that is carrying you forward through the program.
I probably have to go with like what Bree said. Like, if you're nervous, just try it. It's fun. If if you don't like it, like Bree said, at least you tried. But I feel like just going into it, just try to get rid of the nerves because it's fun. It's something that you make friends with. You make great memories.
I love that. Well, thank you, all three of you, for joining us on the podcast. We're actually going to be speaking to the man behind the curtain himself, Mr. Alvarez, here in just a moment. But for now, we're going to close you guys out. So stay tuned as we interview the director of the West Point High School Theater Program, Mr. Alvarez. Hello again, audience. We are back here with the man behind the curtain, Mr. Alvarez, the theater director here at West Point High School. Mr. Alvarez, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hello. Hi, I'm Jesus Feliciano Alvarez. I'm the theater director here at West Point High School, and I'm very excited to be here.
I'm very excited to be here, too. I love theater, musicals, plays, anything that takes place on stage. I think it's just such an impressive feat for people to have high schoolers learning this kind of skill. I think it's just fantastic. How long have you been here at West Point High School?
This is my 6th year here at West Point High School, so I wasn't here when the school first opened.
Pretty close, though.
Yeah, this PAC actually didn't exist when the school opened, so the PAC was built in phase 2.
Okay.
So then I came in, and then we had to go online, which we had the whole, COVID thing, and we still managed to do a virtual play that year, which was really exciting.
I was about to, you know what? That was not on my list of questions to ask, but I have to ask, what is it like doing theater online?
It was very interesting. You for sure had students who were dedicated and wanted to try, and then other students who, tried when grades were due.
Mm-hmm.
But I still try to keep it fun and exciting and try to keep it engaging as much as I could. And I think most students had a great experience in my class.
Wow, that's a unique challenge I never would have considered. I'm glad that overall it was a positive experience and you still had retainment of students after the fact, and they wanted to keep pursuing.
Yeah, we managed to do a virtual play, and that was
what play did you end up doing?
We actually did She Heals Monsters. Virtual room. So we did an online version of it, and then my seniors 2 years ago, who were freshmen when we did our virtual play, wanted to revisit it and redo it on stage.
Okay.
So 2 years ago, we managed to put it up as one of our advanced theater productions.
That's really impressive.
Full circle it.
Love that. Now, what was your experience like before joining the West Point Theater Program?
So before West Point, I actually got my bachelor's degree from ASU in theater. And then right after that, started teaching 5th grade, which was really exciting. And then I taught 4th grade after that. And then I was able to get a master's degree in education. So I was able to marry theater and education together. And then that's when I started teaching elementary school drama. So then we did a junior production of Schoolhouse Rock.
Okay.
That's when you get our junior stuff. And then after that, I came here.
That's fantastic.
So kind of taught them all,
What is the transition like from going from teaching or from directing junior status to high school status?
I was actually really shocked on how independent high school students can be, where you give them something and you give them a vision and you give them instructions and they just do it. I was really shocked by that. And then, like our middle schoolers that I taught, it was a lot of hand holding and this is what we're going to do. And then we're hoping that they manage to do it, But in high school, they just go with it and they make their own choices, which is really fun.
That's awesome. I feel like in high school, there's always worry of as teens are becoming independent, they don't want to do things they don't want to do. And so to hear that there is a really strong passion amongst theater kids in high school that, no, we do want to do this. We want to put in all the work. And we just had a few of your students on the podcast earlier, and they really talked about all the facets that go into theater production. But one of the things that they said that I took away from was that they said, you are a theater kid at heart. What kind of sparked that interest for you as not just a theater director, but just as a fan of stage production?
Yeah, actually, like growing up, my parents never really took me to see any theater productions. I didn't really know what theater actually was other than watching movies. But then in high school, it's actually a funny story where my best friend at the time, it was the end of our freshman year, we were picking classes and we were like, what class can we choose from that we can take together? And it was either dance or theater. And I was like, I'm not much of a dancer. So I guess we chose theater. And then after that, I've done theater ever since. And I really enjoyed my high school theater program. And it was kind of my theater teachers, I had two at the time, that really inspired me. And I took away how much they cared about their program and how much they cared about their students. And that's kind of my inspiration of what I want for my students as well.
I love that. Was there a show in your own experience that you were like, yeah, I love this. I can do this. I can keep doing this for a long time?
I think it was just my very first one act play that I did. Like I was a lab rat sitting on stage. It was crazy little one act and just sitting under the lights. And I was like, wow, I think I really enjoyed this because I was, or maybe I'm still am, I'm that quiet kid in the back who just likes to observe, not really likes the spotlight. But when you're on stage, something just totally changes.
Okay. I love that. I think there is a big difference. I think you make or break under that spotlight because it's nerve wracking. You have an audience of hundreds, if not thousands, depending on your setup, that are looking at you quietly, depending if it's oh my God, lo and behold, if it's a drama and there's no reactions from the audience. So you say something and it's silence for a lot of it. And I just think that kind of energy it really defines who wants to pursue something. I think people look at theater, it's silly, it's this, but it's, I think, one of the most difficult things to do, to put yourself out there and be vulnerable. So that's just fantastic that you felt that molding and now you are in this position where you're helping these students find themselves with that. But I know you don't just do it alone. Finding out from the students that we spoke with earlier that it's you and two others. We have our dance instructor and our choir instructor that help really put all three facets of theater into effect. What's that like in the collaboration process?
Yes, so you're correct. Like when we do musicals, it's not just me putting on the whole entire show. We have our choir teacher and our dance teacher who help out to make sure that we have and give our students the best production that we can. Where our choir teacher takes time and sometimes she has to teach students how to sing in 3 months and put them on stage, and they're fantastic. Likewise with our dance instructor, where we have to sometimes select certain movements that looked really great and look amazing on stage, but again, we're teaching students how to dance in a small amount of time. So we just collaborate really well together and just mold our ideas to make sure that we put on the best show that we can.
That's awesome. I love that. With in regards to just the work that comes in, what does that look like from a scheduling standpoint? I know, like with the kids, they talked about they have callbacks, they have auditions, they have all of these different things. But you take all that feedback. What does the workload look like from a director standpoint of a theater program?
Well, I like to challenge myself because I guess it comes from I believe that my students do well by performing in front of others, not just in class. So every year we do 4 big productions as part of our theater program. And then we do in-class productions as well as part of our 1X. So year round, we're constantly doing shows after shows. So prior to school opening that year, that's when we try to choose what we're doing. and what plays we're hoping or musicals we're hoping to do the next following year. And then we just start planning after that. But most shows take up like 2 or 3 months to rehearse. We're rehearsing after school, sometimes 2.5 hours every day, and then just putting it on stage for
Has
an
it
audience to look at.
has there ever been a production that you're like, this is gonna be a really good time, and afterwards you're like, the work that is putting into it, whether it's the rehearsals or maybe the props or costuming or stage production, that is just like, oh my god, I didn't expect this kind of outcome, but you still, you overcome as you must in theater. Yes, and your way to the end. But has there ever been a production, whether it's here or in your own experience, where you're like, oh my gosh, like this is just not what I anticipated?
Yes, actually, a production last year of Hades Town,
Really?
where whole entire show from beginning to end is just sung through. There's music that doesn't stop.
Mhm.
And so I think there's about like 42 songs whole entire show.
My god. Yeah.
And plus choreography and like making sure that everyone is where they should be. Plus making sure that our costumes and our props and our set is what we want it to be. But just managing whole entire show was a little stressful. We managed to like rehearse and block the first act in like 2 months, and then we came back from spring break and blocked, choreographed whole entire act two in 1 week,
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
we went into Tech Week after that. So
Well, I must say, I, as a big fan of Hades Town, and from what I had seen, I unfortunately could not make the show at West Point and put on. I was very upset about it, but we had several of our marketing team there taking videos and clips to help promote it. And from what I saw, it looked fantastic and it sounded fantastic. So
thank you.
all of that stress and struggle, I think, really paid off in the end. Because West Point, I think, is known just for having some of the best production value and effort put in for it. I mean, you guys have a really high standard here, and it's great to see that on stage and to see the passion that the students put on. What do you look forward to most as an instructor working with these students?
My favorite moment is after a show, just getting them to see their smile and how proud their family is, and how I'm just proud of them for actually going on stage and doing something that most people can't do. So that's my favorite moment, of just greeting them after and just seeing how excited and happy they are that they actually perform something that we've worked so hard, and it just pays off every time.
You love it. There's nothing better than seeing a student who finds that confidence within themselves. So I'm glad that you get to experience that. I think that's such a rewarding and fulfilling thing, because it is a lot of hard work. And sometimes you are sitting in the dead of night with props in hands going, man, I don't know how this is going to look like when we open next week. And that, I think, is what pays it off for it. So that's just awesome to hear. I know for these students, again, a lot of people think it's an extracurricular. It's just something that you can do for fun. But I don't think a lot of people are aware that you can earn academic achievement for doing something like this with our diploma seals and aligned with PVA. Can you tell us a little bit about what that kind of means and how that's acquired?
Yes, actually, all of our performing and visual art students can earn a art seal. So they just have to take 4 years of a performing arts class, and then create a capstone at the end of their senior year where they showcase what they've learned. So, like last year, we had students direct some 1X.
Mhm.
So that was their big project. We had students write 1X before, and that's like their big project. But it could also be choir students singing and just working on their own on some singing pieces, variety of ranges, or they're choreographing a dance. I know that a lot of our art students create art portfolios, and that's their art seal. So we take all of these this big project that they worked on, and then that could be their like the end of the year big performing or visual arts project, and that's their art seal, and then they get that special stamp on their certificate, which is really cool.
What do you see students able to accomplish when they reach that achievement? What can they do afterwards with something like that? Do you feel?
Yeah, so it looks really great on their resume. Like colleges really enjoy seeing that, especially if they pursue a performing or visual arts career. So that's a big benefit on them. And also, like, it just ties everything together, where you did something all 4 years of a performing or visual arts, and you get to do a big project at the end where families can come and see, and it's just really rewarding, I believe, for them.
I love that. I think that's just such a great thing. I wish I was not, weirdly enough, as much as I love film and I work in film now, I was not a theater kid. I was in the military, so I moved around every few years. And for me, the easiest way to join communities was through sports. So I was more sports and whatnot. But my family, we loved watching film. And so it has only been since college that I started doing acting classes and doing performances, and now well into my adulthood with community events that I work with. I look at what we do here and I'm just so envious what students have the capability of, especially to be able to walk away with such a great achievement and to have something show for it. It's not just DVDs of their performances or the selfies they take at IHOP in the middle of the night from their shows, but I get to see that on my diploma. I get to see that this meant something more than just a fun 4-year experience. So I love that. For first time or up and coming aspiring theater students, what's a piece of advice that you try and give to those that maybe aren't ready to take the leap or are unsure of taking that leap into a theater program?
Yeah, I say give it a try. When you join a beginning theater class, I don't expect you to perform on day one. We build up to that. So like we start performing with just our bodies. So we make frozen pictures. Then we start adding movement. We're still don't need to talk. We're just moving at telling a story. Then we slowly add dialogue, and then we slowly add a script. And then eventually students in class are performing monologues, whether they thought they could do it on day one, but they do it. And then at the end of the year, I push them to perform in a one act where their families can come see. And that's the most rewarding part, where I let them know at the beginning of the year where we're going to be performing a one act at the end of the year. And they look at me dead in the eyes like, I'm never going to do that. And then they do it. And then sometimes I get students that really enjoyed it. And they're like, you know what? I didn't sign up to take theater a second year. Can I switch my class and actually be in theater? Because that was a lot of fun. So just like give it a try. You never know if you're going to enjoy it if you don't give it a shot. Just like I didn't think theater was for me at first, and here I am. I've done it for quite a long time now, since I was a sophomore in high school.
That was me with film. I switched from game design. I wanted to do narrative in video games, and I wasn't the best programmer, but I liked writing the backstory and doing all this stuff. And someone was like, you should take a film class. So because you love watching movies. And I think it sounds like the simplest piece of advice, and it sounds so obvious just to try something, but really once you get your feet wet with it, I think it just really can make an impact. And how many students do you feel you get every semester in your freshman starting classes that are like, that have that mindset of like, I didn't think about this until now. How can I join in? How many students do you feel like you get every semester with that, or every year?
About like half for each class or so.
Wow, really?
Maybe a little less, but yeah. Or I have students who do theater 1, 2, and then next year they do something else, and then they return back to theater for my intermediate class because they just miss it so much.
That's awesome. I love that kind of energy. What are you hoping? I know you said you've been here since the PAC has opened. You've kind of been spearheading this program. I guess my final thing that I want to bring up before we close out today is, what do you want to do to keep improving? Where do you see this in the next 5 years at West Point High School? What are you hoping to see this program amount to?
Yeah, I just feel like my whole goal is I want my students to feel like they're doing something professional, even though, we're still in high school, where I want to push them, and I feel like we're creating some really magical stuff on stage. And so just continuing to do what we do. And I just want them to realize that they're just doing some amazing stuff. So I just feel like just keep going, just keep doing what we're doing. And students love coming back, especially our seniors who graduate, coming to see our shows. And I just feel like they just keep pushing them.
Well, I think that is just a great goal to reach for, and I wish you the best of luck on that, or break a leg, as they say, on that goal. Thank you, Mr. Alvarez, so much for coming onto the podcast and having your students on as well. They were fantastic to interview with, and looking forward to seeing what they continue to produce in your class. It sounds like they're going to be really, really just great under your leadership and guidance. So thank you so much for being here and giving us some perspective. And thank you, audience, for tuning in to this episode of the Education Exchange, where we aim to enlighten our parents and empower our students. We hope to see you again next time.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the Education Exchange. Have a question or want to be a guest on our podcast? Email podcast@tuhsd.org for more information. Missed an episode? Catch all seasons of the Education Exchange on your favorite streaming platforms or at www.tuhsd.org/podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week for another episode of The Education Exchange.